Hey, I'm Haley.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're listening to Personality Hire,
the podcast where if you drank milk with every meal, you might have grown up in the 90s. I know for some people this is polarizing.
Ooh, yeah.
And I also know some people didn't have this experience, but I naively thought that every kid growing up in the 90s drank low fat or 2% milk with every single meal.
And that's what your parents wanted you to believe.
We were chugging milk. I was crushing it. Morning, noon, and night. Me and my 2%.
At school, that's what they would give us in cartons. I believe that's probably something they still do, but now they allow water bottles. I don't remember being allowed to carry a water bottle. We had to quench our thirst at the water fountain, and they'd say, 1, 2, 3, that's enough for me. Wasn't that it? They go, 1, 2, 3, that's enough for me.
No one ever put a time limit on my amount of water fountain consumption.
No, because there was a line, honey, because we weren't allowed to have a water bottle.
Right, but I also didn't have a water bottle. I also, quite frankly, don't remember hydrating at any point in my childhood.
No.
But I never had anyone tell me that I had to do a countdown after I was trying to quench my thirst. Certainly not. You just have to wait your turn.
Also, it's hard to drink out of a water fountain, and nobody talks about that. But you're sitting there and you're like, I'm not a dog. I don't know how to...
It's also just not sanitary. You can tell me, well, as long as you're not putting our mouth on it. No, I don't care. It's not sanitary.
Who's putting their mouth on it first of all?
You don't remember. I have vivid memories of children in elementary school trying to just full on anaconda the top of the, because they're learning, everyone's learning, but they didn't quite understand that you use your lips, and you don't use your tongue. I remember that was a big teachable moment for people. You're not a little dog lapping it up. You have to purse your lips ever so, and then slurp it up. But
I'm so sorry. I've been gagging this whole episode so far.
I don't remember really ever drinking water.
No,
but I certainly had a carton of milk. I'm sure of it. I'm sure I had that, and maybe a juice.
I would always get the chocolate milk because I really was averse to milk. I didn't want it.
And it did taste like cardboard every time.
Yeah, especially they didn't give you a straw, so you had to drink it out of the curtain. And the little, when you would pull it apart, you would have the little, pull apart parts of the carton. As if you would open a box. Now there's the paper.
You were drinking a little bit of paper every time, but that prepared us,
along with the microplastics that we microwaved in the microwave.
I believe that our time drinking the paper from the cartons was really preparing us for saving the turtles. Now that everyone needs us to use paper straws, which I oppose. I'd rather give me no straw. Give me no straw if you're going to give me a paper straw.
I don't like paper straw because it does taste like, you're totally right. It's the same feeling as drinking out of a milk carton.
Yeah.
Also, the new straws, I will say, from Starbucks. I kind of like them. I know they're biodegradable.
Yes.
I like them. I think they're a good alternative. I don't know what they're made of, like recycled something, perhaps. They do break easily, but they don't fall apart. So yesterday I was opening one and the tip broke, and I was like, well, I'm going to put this at the top because I don't want it to break off into my drink and then me drink it. I'd rather feel that it's about to break off and I'd rather know it's there and be gentle than to slam it down at the bottom of the cup or something. And it never broke apart. It never cut my lip. I never had an issue.
I feel like I think about straws more than I thought I would at this day and age.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm a newly converted Stanley person. I purchased a Stanley cup several months ago for myself, and I really enjoy it. I really like it, and I understand the hype around it. But I also think often about, now that I'm of a certain age, the more apparently you drink out of straws, the more it enhances your smile lines, and it can give you little wrinkles. Now,
but like, how harder?
It's not about the suction. It's about the frequency that you're using straws. It's not about the suction, but it is proven. And I have heard a few podcasts discuss it. There have been some people, especially in the plastic surgery field, that I've seen some befores and afters. I've also seen some people that don't drink out of straws and do. I also know the Kardashians choose not to drink out of straws, and they also laugh like this.
They also cry like this.
Well, that's because they've frozen their faces, but I can't.
They don't froze their face.
But I can get behind that.
Also, I got to say something about the straws. I have a Alawa.
Odwalla. Oh no, that was a juice.
Okay, it's a Alawa. Like it's spelled like, I don't know. Actually, I'm like forgetting how it's spelled now. I think it's owl with an A at the end.
I think you're right.
It's kind of a popular water bottle. It's like the more affordable version of a hydro flask or something. I like it because it has a straw within it, but you don't drink from the straw. Does that make sense? So it has like a double mouth hole. So it's like a normal sipping, like a cup, but it has two mouth holes in it. So
More of a funnel then?
perhaps I could show you right now, but I couldn't show the viewers.
Well, because it sounds to me that the inner straw piece is more of a funnel that's getting the water into your mouth and preventing splashing and preventing like you drowning yourself.
I think that's it.
Okay.
I think
That
that's
makes
it.
sense.
And I really like it. But also I feel like we can't win anymore. Everything's causing wrinkles. Everything's going to murder us. I'm trying to learn how to sleep on my back. And guess what? Sometimes I'll land there. Sometimes I'll stay there. And actually a lot of my sleep, I think I do sleep on my back naturally. But if I have to fall asleep on my left side. And I've tried to look, and don't look too hard. If you're watching this right now, actually
your
don't
eyes.
tell me what you see.
Close your eyes.
I don't need to know. I don't have money to fix it. Okay. Chill. But I do look in the mirror a lot. I'm like, is it affecting like the symmetry of my face? And I don't think it is. And I've been doing it my whole life.
I sleep on my side. I sleep
Yeah.
on the one thing though that this is
And I hardly sleep. So
I'm
like,
revealing
let a girl sleep.
something weird about myself. This is very weird that I'm going to reveal to you.
I'm so excited.
I think the only person that knows this is my husband, is that I also sleep on my side, but I have to sleep on my right side because I get extremely freaked out if I can feel or hear my own heartbeat. It reminds me of my mortality, and it reminds me of just what it means to be alive and how important your heart is. And that has freaked me out since the dawn of time. And so when I lay on my left side and I can feel my heart working and kind of, beating.
I see.
I can't. I say, oh, this is not good. This is not for me. So I have to stay on my right side.
I kind of get that. I was about to say, I mean, that's like not that weird. I would say
When I can-
like, I understand it.
Sometimes you can hear your
In your ear?
pulse in your ears.
I hate it.
That is my ultimate nightmare.
No, that's the worst.
I don't like to be reminded that my heart is the reason why I'm alive. And I know that sounds crazy. It is crazy, but it's me. This is me. Okay. And so
I get it though. I do get that. And I don't like it hearing my heartbeat because I get distracted. And then I'm thinking about my heartbeat. And then I'm thinking about, what song does this remind me of? Like I get on and then I have like 3 ideas going at once about my heartbeat. And now it's 2:30 a.m. But I sleep on my left because my gut. It apparently is better for your digestion. And I have horrid gut issues. I don't go number 2. I'll just say it here. So if a doctor is listening, and I'm giving that up because I want tips and tricks. And I've been getting tips and tricks for years and years and years. I've gone to several specialists, and guess what they all tell me? Girl, your shit's messed up.
You're messed up. You need to sleep on your left side. You need to listen to my heartbeat and go, what if your heartbeat's like, but after that, now Joe, I've been
I thought you were about to do Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. You know the beginning of that song? It goes bum ba dum ba dum ba dum by Big and Rich.
I don't know that song.
Their name is Big and Rich. I love that.
If you heard my phone, I apologize. That was unprofessional, but it's because I was talking to my sister-in-law earlier this morning and I texted Haley about it yesterday. I never dabbled in Morgan Wallen. I didn't know. I didn't really have an opinion. I didn't really know what the vibe was, but I know he released a new album, so I listened to it yesterday, some of it.
36 songs, so it's a lot.
It's a lot, and I know that he is controversial, maybe. I know some people really like him, or some people don't. He's a rebel. I know he threw a chair. I know that much about him. But I liked some of it. I find it like it's like poppy and it's good. And honestly, I feel like it's a good summertime vibe.
I think Morgan Wallen has a phenomenal voice, and I've been a country fan like undercover. Like I feel like since leaving college, I'm not allowed to like country, or people are like, but I've always liked country. I will say that I did have to take a break there was a time, and it was when Morgan Wallen came in when things started to get better. It wasn't just him. It was Luke Combs, like all these people who really had great voices, and it was no longer bruntry, aka bro country.
Oh, okay.
Like Florida Georgia Line.
I thought you were talking about
Luke
country
Bryan
you
kind of went there.
Listen to like when you're eating
Brunch.
a waffle.
Oh, that's kind of fun. I would do that as
Yeah.
well. But Morgan Wallen is controversial. His voice, though, is so calming. It's like there's certain voices when I hear them, I'm like, I could go night-night, or I could be on a yacht, shaking my thing. And it's people like Morgan Wallen. Luke Combs is one of my favorite, but I knew him in Nashville. We have not talked in a few years, so whatever.
Don't go running up Luke Combs' tree.
Don't
Ask
tell
him
him
if he knows Haley.
Yeah, we're not doing that. But we were pals back in Nashville, and I also knew of Morgan then, and Morgan was a little wild thing, but ever so talented. And I just think that, I don't know. I just think that you have to be in the mood for those sorts of things. But his voice, you can't deny it. It's great.
I'm expanding my horizons as we speak, people.
I actually wanted to get more back on, because I took a break. He was getting wild, Morgan was. And I was just like, I can't. He got drunk one time and said a racial slur that was horrid. Oh. And after that, I was just like, I need to take a break from you emotionally. So I'm not going to be invested. But then, again, Theo Von. He was on Theo Von's podcast, which brings me to something I really need to bring up. No.
Yes.
Sorry, ADHD. But Theo Von, okay, he was on Theo Von's podcast, and it made me like Morgan Wallen more, because you just got to hear him speak, and more artists go on podcasts. So if you need a podcast to go on, hello, what are you doing? But you need to be a personality hire, just maybe. But I was talking to a friend today about personality hires today, this AM, and she was confused with what, and I'm going to call her out. She's my stepmom, Kat Barnes. She's been on the pod, friend of the pod. She, I think, is a little confused of what a personality hire is. And I think Jesse and I need to straighten this out, because I think the common belief of a personality hire is someone who is just hired for their personality, and that's it.
Which, for the record, I do think that is actually a common use of the term personality hire, and it can be correct. If somebody thinks that you are unqualified for a job, they might say to you, you're the personality hire. You don't actually know what's going down with the job, but you're here for the fun times. So that could be one definition.
Yes.
However, for the purpose of this podcast, that is not what we utilize that phrase for.
So I want to make sure we have that clear, because in no way, shape, or form am I calling my best friend Jessie not qualified.
Jesse.
Yes, Jesse with an E.
Yesy.
Or perhaps with a Y.
Yeasy.
A personality hire. And do you think I would plaster that all over my name? No. And would I invite friends on, or our other bestie, Jerry O, on, if I thought all they had to offer was their good personality? It means no. Because I think in this day and age, you can't just have a person. I mean, yes, you can. Social media.
No, the job market is tough out there, baby. You got to have more than a personality right now.
Yeah.
I know that from a lot of people. The job market is looking a little bit bleak. But I think what you're saying is that for the purposes of this pod and any guests we have on,
and if I call you a personality hire, it is not a slight.
Yes, it means that you can have all of the talent in the world in any field in the world. But when I tell you you're my personality hire, it's that I want you around. In addition to your talents, I want you around because I like who you are as a person.
Yes.
And what you bring to the party is important.
Right.
Because of your personality and who you are. Not only because you're smart, you're talented, you're kind, you're witty, you have all of these skills. It's also because your personality fills me up to the top.
And it's really hard to be filled up to the top these days. And also, I don't know. I just feel like, how many times are people like overqualified and they can't get a job, right? Or there's all these different things that we could get on to this about. But I'm just saying, personality hire means you're coming with me no matter what. I want you in the room. And you also have to be good at your job though too, because we got to make money and we got to get the train going.
Yeah, I think that it just means, in my opinion,
life.
a personality hire, when it comes to what you and I are talking about, means that you have it all. You have it absolutely.
Yeah.
You're the full package. That's what I think it means.
Yes, that's the best way to, you just tied it up. Because there's no way I would have a friend who's a personality hire at this day and age, because I'm tired. You can't just be funny. You can't just be like nice. You have to be a good friend too.
A good friend that can tap dance.
Yes, if you have a shuffle ball change, if you know how to do time step, you're in. You're all the way in. But I think I was thinking about this so hard because I think Theo Von is a personality hire. And I think when I would mention him, people might say, oh, because he's funny. No, he's really smart. Silence from the crowd. But I mean that, like, he's smart. Your brain can't do that. He knows timing. You can watch his little tip-tap brain tapping back when you watch the podcast. And I did have to watch it to understand, but I've seen so many clips.
If you're quick-witted like that, and a lot of comedians are, you have to be intelligent.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to make connections really quickly, and you have to be able to do callbacks really quickly, and you have to have a lot of knowledge about a lot of topics to be quick like that, in my opinion.
I agree.
So I see what you're saying. He is smart. I think that you have to be smart in comedy a lot of the times, or you don't make it, unless you've got another shtick. Which, if you got a shtick, lean into your shtick, baby. You know,
get that
There's
shtick.
a lot of different ways to be a personality hire or to be good at things.
I also think that social intelligence is something that, especially in America, we don't, or at least growing up, they don't. You can't really teach it.
I don't think you can teach it at all, period. I think that a lot of people, the older that you get, I think people learn to adapt and they learn skills to fake it. But I don't think it comes naturally to everyone. And that's also okay if you are a person that doesn't feel comfortable in social situations, or if you're a person that feels like it's extra hard for you to make connections or to feign interest in things or to ask people how they're doing and really mean it.
Yeah.
I don't think that comes naturally to everybody. And I think that's okay. But I think that it's something that you can.
But it's a skill.
It is a skill you can learn.
You can learn, and you can
to fake it, at least.
To fake it, yes. But some people are born with it naturally, just like some people are born with the ability to do math equations. And one or the other is not better. I don't believe. I think they're both skills to have, and it takes all kinds of kinds. But those people, you would say both of them are smart, though. Yeah. But I think, like, growing up, people didn't say that if you could work a room, you were smart. Or if you could, like, connect people, you were smart.
I think
just in the schooling aspect.
Right. I think what you're saying is the definition of intelligence has maybe broadened with the inclusion of people who are able to be, like what we're saying, witty, or utilize like the spoken word, or that maybe people that are really good at writing, even like maybe more art centered things, or more like left brain centered things are being considered smart now. Maybe the definition has changed a little bit.
Which I just think that's where the confusion.
Are you saying like the class clown was considered kind of disruptive, but is now the comedian?
Yeah. I was class clown, so, and I was a little disruptive, but I was just yapping. I wasn't cracking jokes.
I was gonna say, I think you're probably just chit chatting.
Yes, yeah. I think I've said this on the pod before, but I'll never forget going home in college and going through our photo drawer and finding, that's a hard word for me, drawer. I also was in speech class for a quarter.
For your R's?
For my R's. I said caw.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I said, caw. But I just remember car. And now, like, when I hit the R, I'm like, car. Anyway.
Drawer.
Drawer is really hard for me. Anyway, when I was going through the photo drawer, I found an old report card. And it said, Haley is obviously very intelligent. Hello, she's very intelligent, and she's proving it here today on Personality Hire. But if she would only basically like shut her trap.
Shut up.
And guess what? I didn't.
It's funny to me that I feel like you probably, and I don't know, Bryce, if you feel this way too, but I think that if you asked any one of my teachers in middle or high school, and also a lot of my classmates, I think I was very unmemorable. I was really involved. I was very involved. I was in dance team and I was in some clubs and I did theater and I had friends and I was friends with a lot of different people across different groups, you know, like everybody kind of had their own little clique, but
Yeah.
I definitely tried to make friends within each of the cliques. But I was very fly under the radar when it came
That's
to my
crazy.
academics, and I was
Oh.
very fly under the radar in the classroom. I did my work. I made decent grades, but I wasn't exceptional. But I also was not the bottom, so I just kind of floated through school like
You mean
that.
with like teachers?
And probably a lot of my classmates too.
That's shocking to me.
But I had a great group of friends.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the corner.
By the way,
being
that's
to
not a
myself
bad
too
way
much.
to go through life. Also,
I think I actually do have. I have my own
Especially in
opinions.
high school.
I have my own opinions on what it means to go through life in that way. As long as you being true to yourself. But as far as school goes, when I hear people talk about their connections with a teacher or you having that feedback on your report card, I just always kind of got like she had good attendance this year and she made a B-.
my
See you next
teachers either
time.
loved me or they hated me. I had a Spanish teacher in high school who literally called me lazy when I was going in for tutoring every day. And my tutor, who then moved to Spain to teach English, so very good at Spanish, he was like, no, she's actually working really hard. She's trying. And I wasn't doing that bad. She just hated me.
She habla español.
She hated my gritch. And even my dad was like, that woman hates you.
Well, I think that a lot of, I don't know. Actually, I don't want to talk about that today. That's another time and a place. I don't want to be negative today. I was going to say something that was going to be a little negative. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I do think that teachers get annoyed with certain students.
Yeah.
For sure.
I could never be one.
I was a terrible student.
You were?
Yes.
That's hard to
Okay.
believe.
I know.
Why?
Because you're just so like sweet. And like, I feel like you'd be like,
I wasn't a troublemaker, but I was just like, I did not care about school.
I didn't care either.
I liked
only
liked
cared
being
so
an
I
art
could-
student.
You like what?
I liked being an art student, but not everything else. No.
Yeah, I just wanted to do well because I wanted to make people happy. I didn't want to do it for me. In the classes that I did do well because I liked it, I didn't do anything in. And I did really well in college because I was doing all the things I wanted to do and I didn't have to try. And I remember thinking like, oh, school is easy now. Where in high school, I thought school was so hard. But also I think getting up and moving and being able to go from class to class outside, maybe having those longer classes, like those lectures in college were easier to me because then I would have it like 30 minutes in between to go walk outside, like do whatever I needed to do, go to another building. Obviously it was a lot of walking, big campus, but like, maybe that was it. And that I only had 3 classes a day. I don't think I ever had more than maybe freshman year. I had like some 4 classes a
You
day.
had more autonomy, which makes sense of why you would.
I
find
did
it more.
much better. I like literally never. I did study. That's a lie. I did study, but it was when I think about studying, it was all the classes that were my prereqs. Like I remember I took a geology class for a prereq.
I took college seriously. I did. And I definitely applied myself. I went to a public school for high school that was it was not challenging and it actually wasn't rated very well, but I did my best that I could there. And I didn't really love learning there, but
Yeah.
I knew that I loved certain things. I loved English. I did AP English and I scored well and I got to transfer those credits. And that was for my morale and also for my confidence in myself. That did huge benefit to me for taking that to college, because then when I went to college, I said, I can write. I'm good at these things. I understand how this section of my academic works, and I was able to kind of really apply myself. And I tried.
Good for you.
I tried.
I mean,
hard
I
in college.
tried. I'm just saying that the only thing.
I went to school hungover, but I did,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm not trying to say that I was perfect, but like
No.
I definitely.
I definitely tried.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I didn't try, but I was trying really hard in high school to do well in some of my classes and just couldn't. So if Dad, you're listening, and he knows because I would go to school early, go to tutoring, I'd go to math tutoring, and all of those teachers, even I will say, like even my math teacher really liked me, and he was like, it's hard for you. It's hard for your brain. And I was like, it is. But I was trying hard. I also found that my extracurriculars were really important to me too, like dance team or musical, like in theater, like all of that stuff. I loved. And now look at me. I mean, it just makes all sense. But, you know, it's fine. It's fine. I wasn't meant to be a mathematician.
I was thinking recently about how I remember this was a popular punishment for kids, especially in my high school, where if you didn't do well in academics, you were penalized by not participating in your extracurriculars. You couldn't do the team sports. You couldn't do the dance. You couldn't do the things that you actually excelled in or you liked. You couldn't go to art club, whatever that was for you. And when I think about my own kid and how I might handle if she's not doing as well in academics, I don't think that I will penalize her or take away what she enjoys and is good at as a way to punish her for not doing well in things that are maybe more academically challenging for her. I think that would do more harm than good for her confidence and for her mental health. So I don't know if that's old school, and I'm not trying to say that this is every parent's style from when I was growing up in high school, but I do know that was a normal punishment. And so I don't think that I will do the same. I had that threatened to me, but that actually was threat enough to where I kind of put my ass in gear and I got the extra algebra 3 tutoring. So I see where that threat helped me. However, it also made me feel more stressed. Mm-hmm. And I never want Scooby-Doo to think that the things that gives her happiness and joy and also confidence could be taken away from her if the things that she's not so good at don't start to bring the grades in that maybe she needs. I just think that means we need to divide our time a little better. And if you need extra help, there are tutors. We have to divide our time better. I'm not going to take it away from you, but we have to balance it out. So where we're actually, we got to make the grades to a certain extent. That's just, you got to play the game a little bit. You got to play the game. You got to make some grades. But I was just thinking about that the other day.
I think you're spot on for that. And I'm glad you said that, because I think the threat of not being able to go to dance or dance team helped me to do better. But also it was the threat of not pleasing all these adults. And it wasn't really my dad. Like when I think of people who stressed me out about school, is like my dance coach and stuff like that, because they were always on it, because they wanted to be the dance coach with everybody who was in all honors. I think I was the only person on my dance team who wasn't in all honors classes. And I didn't need to be. I really didn't. That would not have been great for me. But I can tell you that I did take classes with some of those, because they only have like honors. It wasn't all honors classes, by the way. It was like there's only 3 that you could do, and they were all math and science related pretty much. And if you weren't in the others, then you couldn't be in honors English or whatever.
What do y'all think about Montessori schools? Am I saying that right?
Montessori?
Montessori.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of different ways that preschoolers can thrive. And I think that a Montessori is a really good option for young children.
Yeah.
And I think that there's multiple ways, though, that kids can have that. Montessori is very tactile in the sense that they're really encouraging a lot of learning through play. I think that's really important. I also think that really... we have put so much pressure on really young kids to know a lot of different things right out of the gate. And that's probably where my opinion is most formed outside of the way that you do it. Montessori is one way to do it. There's multiple ways. My opinion mostly lies in the fact that I think the pressure starting at quite literally 3 years old to have these children learn and do and know and excel is
insane.
It's wild right now. But I think that Montessori is good because I think kids should play. I think they should play to learn and understand the world around them. And that's the only expectation I think they should have.
Which also goes back to what you were saying with taking away play or whatever. Because like I remember growing up, if you did bad on a test, you literally had to skip recess. Do you know how important that is for a kid to get out and run so that their brain can be okay to learn, so they can accept? Also, we don't know what these kids are. I went to public school too, public all throughout. And I went to a school where people were, some were well off and some were literally coming in with one shoe on, essentially. Like, as even a kid, and I think my dad encouraged this, like, empathy and just also looking around you, and your reality is not everybody's reality. And it was just so obvious where I grew up. But kids are like coming in and you don't know what's going on at home. Even if they're coming from the best home ever, kids have bad days. And to say like, oh, you can't run outside, this, your only relief of the day, you can't have because you stunk on ice on a test last week that you took. Like, that makes no sense to me. Also, I believe in Illinois, they took away mandatory gym class. I don't know if I'm actually correct on that, but I know that, thank you, Be Smooth. He's looking it up. But I think that's insane, especially in the state of our health. Like, being physically fit and being able to bounce a ball, like all these things, that is so important for your brain, for many other things, not just physical health. It's good for your brain. So I don't understand why we've done that.
Yeah, I think it probably is like district to district and school to school about the way they take away physical education and or recess. And
like arts and home ec.
I think a lot of it has to do with funding, but a lot of these public schools too are, and I'm not a teacher, but I do know the basics about this. A lot of these teachers and a lot of the faculty and staff of these public schools are under immense pressure to perform, especially when it comes to state testing in order to get funding that they need. And so a lot of that is also, I think, affecting how much time these students sit in front of a teacher memorizing things as opposed to out on a playground or in the gym, because they need these kids to be able to perform under the pressure of a state exam so that they can prove that what they're doing is working, and so they can get the funding they need and hire the teachers they need. And I think that it's more political than when you and I probably even could begin to
imagine. Yeah. I mean, Abbott Elementary, I don't know if you've seen that show. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do a really good job of painting the picture of that. But my best friend from growing up, she is a math teacher in middle school for 7th and 8th graders, and she has the most stressful job. When I hear her talk, I'm like, you would think you're giving heart surgery every day because of the stress she gets, the lack of support she receives from the state, from sometimes her school. I think they try as much as they can, but there's only so much they can do. Like, even seeing her wish list at the beginning of the year, I ask her, I'm like, when we fill this, like, how long does this last? And she's like, maybe a quarter and a half. Like, it's crazy because kids come to school and they don't have paper. They don't have pencils. They don't, for testing, you have to have these pencils. The school doesn't always pay for those pencils, like the proper number 2 pencils that they have to have.
No, I don't think that when you go to public school, the school provides anything whatsoever. That's why they have
she's public school.
They give, in addition to the teachers feeling the pressure of having to provide things, they also put pressure on the parents.
They don't make
to have to provide lots and lots of school supplies, where I understand that's the way of the world. We have to make sure our kids have what they need in their school, and to perform well, they need to be able to be stocked full of things that they can actually perform well with. But it's a wild ride having a kid in any school, and it's wild to be a teacher, it's wild to be a student, and it's wild to be a parent of a student in any school system, because we're all just out here rocking and rolling, baby, by the seat of our pants in a lot of scenarios. So it's a wild time.
So that thing about Illinois, in August of 2017, they approved like a decrease in requirements for daily physical education for students from grades K through 12. So it went from 5 days to 3 days.
That's nuts to me. That's absolutely nuts to me and makes zero sense. But I know it's all financial, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Also, Elmo got picked up by Netflix. Congrats, Elmo. We're not done with you yet.
Love you, Elmo. Mean it.
Yeah.
I wanted to just talk about our Pictionary episode quickly, if I could.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up because it threw me for a loop, people. It threw me for an absolute loop. and I need to have a little bit of banter on it just for my mental health. But Haley and I's Pictionary episode was airing last week, last Friday. And I know that it aired in Macon. I know that it aired in Savannah. I know that it aired in other parts of the country. I know that it aired
in Texas,
everywhere it was supposed to air across the country, except for in Atlanta, Georgia, because at the exact time that Haley and I's Pictionary episode was going to air in Atlanta, live action, a woman from Georgia who had been lost in the California Sierra Nevada mountains for 3 weeks. They found her.
Thank goodness.
They found her after she'd been missing for 3 weeks, and they needed right then and there to do a very very long and very emergency driven press conference with the Fresno County Sheriff's Department.
Jesse sent me a picture, and I go,
now, here's the deal. I am happy. Let me make things very clear. We are very happy that woman was found.
Yes.
Her survival skills are
Queen.
Second to none. And I think that her parents, seemed like a lovely couple. She seemed like a very interesting person. My gripe is two gripes. Number one, damn the timing. The timing was just not ideal for the Fresno County Sheriff's Department to have to go, we got a red alert and we have to do this press conference. And second, this woman went on this press conference looking like Powerline from the Goofy movie. You need to go see the Goofy movie if you haven't. Powerline is the person that they want to all go see. He's the musician in it. And his glasses are basically like blue blocker glasses that go around his head. This woman...
No, when you sent me that, I didn't think that was the hiker that was found. I thought it was some like one of her friends speaking on her behalf, being
Certainly
like, rock and roll. She looked...
She's
very stylish.
She is a 27-year-old woman from Jefferson, Georgia, and that's all I have to say about that. And we can put a picture of her Luke maybe. And I want to be clear, I'm happy that she's found, but it was it was wild.
Immaculate.
To think, like just sometimes you need to understand that the world's not going to work on your timeline, and the world's not going to prioritize what you prioritize. Okay.
Yeah. Never.
And so the last thing I wanted to say about this was Haley and I did win.
We won.
Did win our episode.
We won.
We won our episode. Obviously, we won our episode. And we won with Chandler Riggs, who was again Carl on The Walking Dead. He was great, and we won. You might not know that because you didn't see it.
You might have,
but we did.
Yeah.
And whenever it comes out on YouTube, we'll show you to the world.
Yeah. I can't wait.
That's funny though, Haley.
It's hilarious,
really
but
funny.
It's also like when you said that, I was like, I'm not shocked. No,
it is funny though.
I was not shocked at all. I was like, yeah,
I just
probably
wanted to give y'all something to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah,
but
I knew it.
Yeah,
we could.
Oh my god! Wait, we should ask if she wants to be on the podcast. The hiker.
Oh my
gosh!
gosh!
Wait a second. Maybe she wants
Perfect.
to talk about her experience.
We should watch some more interviews and then we should think about that. But yeah,
Haley's like.
I just want to make sure.
I like that Haley's like we can
We'll
backtrack this. She said we're gonna moonwalk out of this conversation.
We're gonna make sure she wants to be interviewed.
But that would be a heck of a time.
That would be. I think that's hilarious. I also wanted to talk about. I did want to bring up today. Speaking a lot about hometowns, St. Louis was hit on Friday as well. Friday was a weird day. Bad things happened on Friday. An EF3 hit St. Louis, smack dab in the city, which is, I grew up there. Never happened growing up. There is not, it doesn't hit in the city. It hits like the outside of it where I grew up, which is right outside the city. But the buildings, like the city, it never hits the city. It hit the city.
An EF3 tornado.
EF3 tornado. It was a beautiful sunny day. A lot of people, we have in 2021, a new storm siren system was alerted. And if you don't know this, but in the Midwest, every week we have siren practice rehearsals where they just and it's like, it goes on for an hour. It is so annoying. All growing up, this happened. Like now when I hear a siren, I just like picture myself as a child because we heard them all the time. Anyway, they did not go off. There was a human error. So many people were literally sitting outside eating lunch when an EF3 came through, destroying thousands of homes and businesses, a lot of which will not be able to rebuild, a lot of which are historic buildings that were built hundreds of years ago, so long ago, so beautiful that unfortunately St. Louis is not that funded, if you know anything about St. Louis. So I just wanted to shout St. Louis out. Midwest deals with a lot of bad storms throughout the year. It makes me really sad. I watched a lot of news coverage about it. A lot of people lost their lives, and it was, I mean, that's devastating anytime, but especially in the Midwest when we have the practices and we should be able to take cover in enough time, because there are basements, there are shelters. Unfortunately, there was a human error. There was confusion on who was supposed to set off which sirens. So some counties heard, some didn't, and it cost lives. So if you feel ever so inclined to help out St. Louis with the relief, there's a lot of people who aren't receiving help right now who really need it. No one's really coming to St. Louis's rescue, and there are a lot of areas in St. Louis who could really use it. So there are two ways you could do this. United Way of Greater St. Louis. Just Google that and you will find a way. Storm relief, tornado relief, it'll all be there. Or www.21helps.org /25/storms, tornadoes, but www.211helps.org would be easy.
I'm sure we can put those links in the YouTube.
Yes, we'll put the links in the YouTube. It's really sad because a lot of people weren't prepared and homes are flattened. There's nothing. So it's really sad, and there's a lot of destruction. And I feel for St. Louis. So I wanted to shout them out, and I wanted y'all to be able to have an opportunity to help out if you can. I know times are rough and money is tight for everybody right now. But it'd be really awesome if anything helps, truly. And if you are in St. Louis, if you're one of our Metro East St. Louis listeners and viewers, which I know there are some of y'all, flashlights. Go to O'Fallon YMCA. I know they're collecting canned goods, formula, diapers, all that good stuff. There are a lot of families in need. So anything helps.
Yep, absolutely. I'm glad you said that, Haley. Yeah.
From the loot, and I'm proud.
I'm really
singing loud.
I
Run
don't
a mile
want
from the law.
to diminish the importance of that, but the whole time you were talking about it, I was thinking in my head Nelly saying, "From the loot, and I'm proud.
Mm-hmm. Run a mile from the law.
I'm righteous above the law."
Yep.
Bro.
Nelly's amazing.
I feel like the fact that Nelly and Ashanti were in the game does my millennial heart.
Oh my gosh,
good.
it's so good.
They just had a baby, or is she pregnant?
Yes, I think
or just had a baby. It doesn't matter.
One or the other. Either way, congratulations.
They living legends.
Yes.
Ashanti and Nelly. They got together, and it was always supposed to be that way, obviously. But
Yeah.
I'm really happy that it just wound up being true.
It's amazing. I love that it's true. Also, the woman, she was her name's Tanya Reed. Shout out Tanya Reed. Sometimes I think she actually does listen. She comments on when I post stuff on Facebook about the podcast. She always shows love. Tanya Reed was my dance instructor growing up. She took over our studio, but she used to be just our hip hop teacher. She's an amazing dancer. She was a Nelly dancer. She is the one in the yellow Laker jersey dress in Air Force One music video. That is the best way to describe her, because everybody knows that dress. Everybody wants that dress. I actually have never asked her if she still has that dress, but she always talks so well about Nelly. She was like, he's the stuff. He's the best. And he would show love to our studio too. We always did a bunch of Nelly dances.
Yeah, I'm big fan of Nelly.
Huge.
Big fan of Nelly. Friend of the pod, Nelly.
Friend of the pod. We should get him on the pod.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull some strings.
Friend of the pod,
Nelly, do you want to go down, baby? to Atlanta, or we could come up to the Lou.
Yeah, we'll come up to the
He's not in the Lou. Maybe he is actually. I actually have no idea where that man lives,
Samesies.
and that's none of my business, quite honestly.
Honestly.
Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, do you need to know? When I hear about the people who live in Atlanta, or like the celebrities, because there are so many that I don't even think would live here, I'm always like, what? Where? And then I'm like, girl, that's not
In my
none of your
neighborhood,
business.
I live
Oh yeah.
within like I could throw a rock at an incredibly famous hip hop artist. I mean, this man is so wildly famous, and I would never ever blow up his spot.
No,
and I
because
would
then you'd be
never-
blowing up your spot too.
Yeah, but it's not quite the same in that
No.
way. I would never blow up his
I
spot.
think his spot's already blown up a little bit. Right?
A little bit, but he has lots of good security
Mm-hmm.
around him, so he's good. But this man is so incredibly well known and famous, and it blows my mind too, because I see him out walking the neighborhood or walking his dog, and I call him by his
Government name.
by his government name, his non-performer name, and it is crazy to think about all of the incredible performers we have that do live in Atlanta. And I always
crazy.
think about, for the longest time, there was a very cool, super 90s, early 2000s So Def billboard that I would pass all the time on 85. And it was really near campus at Georgia State. And I think that, I don't know, just the thought that like Jermaine Dupri, the thought that Outkast, the thought that Ludacris, the thought that all of these really talented men and women, there's lots of women that have come out of the Atlanta like hip hop and R&B scene too. Like, it's crazy to me, and it feels like it's a part of me. I don't know if I have any right to feel that
No,
way,
I get it.
obviously, but it feels like because I have grown up with this music, especially in the early 2000s, like the early aughts, and they were from Atlanta, and there were so many Atlanta shout outs and different songs that were popular during that time. I feel this kindredness to it that, again, that's maybe some entitlement there that I don't deserve.
No.
But I just feel so proud of it. in
It's
a
special.
way.
No, it's
Yeah.
special. I think there are still Atlanta shout outs, and even like when I hear St. Louis in songs, I get pumped. But St. Louis is a little bit more random because it is a little bit more random. But like, Sexy Red, ski, when you see me and you're trying to see what's up.
I know
I'm not going to say the rest of that verse because it's
we did a minor shout out. This is a Memphis thing. We did a minor shout out to Glorilla last episode, who I love her.
Glorilla.
And she
I didn't speak English. Just
her little Memphis flair she puts on everything, her birdful spirit.
Beautiful spirit.
She did an interview where she was
beautiful spirit.
talking about Beyonce, and she starts to talk about her and describe her, and she says she's got a birdful spirit.
Beautiful spirit.
And
She Peter at the perk. If you remember, you remember.
I would give anything to have Glorilla look at me and say that I have a birdful spirit. I would
my gosh.
melt.
Because she means it.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Like, that is an ultimate compliment. She got a birdful spirit.
Got a beautiful spirit.
One day in heaven, maybe somebody will say, you know
You got
what?
a
You had a birdful
I think you
spirit
got a
down
birdful
there.
spirit.
I think you got a birdful spirit
Oh my
too.
God, thank
You
you.
got a birdful spirit.
Oh my God, thank you.
What
I
are you
love
doing?
it.
What are you going to do this weekend? It's a long one.
It's a long one. We're going to go to a cabin for really just a day. We planned a trip late, so it's going to be quick. But your girl, the last time I went out of town that wasn't for a wedding and or a holiday, which are not vacations, was with you at the beach last year. And
Which also, depending on who you talk to, also wasn't a vacation.
There were moments of it that were though. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Fair
but
enough.
okay, but then just let that inform how
You have not been on a vacation.
I'm unwell, and I don't need a fancy vacation. I can't afford a fancy vacation. But what I need, I literally texted J Dog the other day. Oh my God, I have a J Dog story that I have to tell. And I've gotten his approval, but I need to get out so badly. And if you have recommendations, and what also stinks is I do have a dog that's very needy, and I'm very weird about who I leave my dog with, and it's hard to find a good dog sitter So also, if you have good dog sitters, I think I'm going to just start boarding her at a place where I've got recommendations from that I can have a camera on her and like know that she's okay. Cause I think that's a thing for me. I'm just worried she's sitting in a pee kennel all day. But it's expensive. All that stuff's expensive. So on top of paying for a vacation, having to pay for dog care, it's like, so I've not been out, but we're going to go hike. We're going to go maybe to a winery to have dinner. We are going to just chill. And that'll be nice. What are you doing?
That sounds delightful. That sounds really nice. I think the fresh
It'll
air.
be okay.
Well, I think the fresh air and the out of doors, it's good for a reset, a quick reset.
Yeah. I'm excited.
If you need a quick reset, the out of doors will do that for you.
Yes.
I'm going to go to Nashville.
Oh yeah, with the girls.
I'm going to go with some girlies.
You're going to have so much fun.
And we are in fact going to Chippendales.
Don't tell your Mormon husbands.
This is the first Chippendales that they have done like a residency at outside of Las Vegas. They chose Nashville for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And
it's like bachelorette capital of the world now.
And I'm going just with some moms gone wild. But the important part of that story for me is that we purchased VIP front row tickets.
You guys are going to get on stage.
If you're going to go to Chippendales, you're going to
get chipped.
You need to get daled.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So we're going to get chipped and daled. And that's really one of the only plans. I'm going to go work out at a studio that looks really cool that I wanted to go to.
Exciting.
We've got some good dinner plans.
Oh, I bet the dinner plans are off the hook.
Do a little bit of shopping.
I just know. Oh my gosh, so much fun.
And we're going to have a pool day.
That'll be so much fun.
And I know some other moms can probably relate to this. Right now, I'm very excited. I'm really looking forward to it. The morning that I leave for the trip, I'm going to have anxiety about leaving my family. I'm going to have lots and lots of anxious thoughts about, are they going to survive without me? What are they going to do? Is everything going to be okay? And I'm going to have to talk myself off a ledge by saying, maybe I shouldn't go. Is everything going to be okay? I shouldn't go. And then I'm going to go. And then I'm going to have a lot of fun. And then when I get back, I'm going to have missed them. But then when I get back into the door, I'm going to go, We're back,
baby.
And they're going to say, do we have any more fruit snacks? Do we have any more applesauce? She needs a bath. Do you think that you can do some laundry? Not saying that my husband's not going to do those things when I'm gone. Of course he will. But that's just kind of like the arc
it's just
of what
back into the...
That's the arc of, I think, what it feels like to be a mom, to go out of town. But so right now I'm in the excited phase.
Yeah.
Friday evening, I'll be back in excited phase.
Yeah.
That's when I'm leaving. So I'm very excited. Yeah.
That'll be so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I did want to tell this story.
Yeah, J-Dog.
Last night we went to ramen over in Sandy Springs. It was so good. So good. He got like a spicy pork ramen and I got a spicy chicken. Again, my stomach issues. I don't go to the bathroom. I'm just going to get a hard bloat. I'm fine though. We get about 2 feet out of the parking lot and he all of a sudden starts driving like Jeff Gordon. And I'm like, where are we going? F1? And he goes, I'm unwell. And I look over, sweating. He's like, sweat is coming through his shirt right here at the top of his belly, underneath his breasts. And I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, no, I'm not okay. I might have to pull over. He is going to poop his pants. He said I'm allowed to tell this story, by the way. We literally video game style up his parking garage. I'm like, ah! I have my seatbelt on. It doesn't matter. It's dangerous. We pull up. He pulls directly up to the door leading in. So not in a parking space. And he goes, you're going to have to park the car. Runs out so he can make it to the restroom. So I have to park the car. I see other people coming through because it's about that time where people are coming home. And I'm like, like I need to hurry up and move this car because it's in an illegal spot, whatever. So I run over and I'm like, I'm just parking the car. I don't need to move the seat for parking the car. I needed to move the seat. He has bucket seats, I guess you'd call those. So they're high at the top. So I'm trying to sit at the top. I'm trying to reach the pedal. He's kind of tall. So I'm like this. People have gotten out of their cars at this point. They're stopping and watching because they think I'm going to hit something. And I also think I'm going to hit something because I'm trying to 8-point turn into a parking space because I can't reach the pedal. So I'm worried I'm going to like go forward or like not. Oh my gosh, it was so stressful. When I get inside, he goes, "Do you have to go to the bathroom?" Because I'm sweating. No, I just had to park the car because I didn't move the seat. Anyway, it was a sight for eyes.
I feel like I have an extremely similar story, and I do not have permission to tell it, but I'm going to tell it anyway because I think this is something that if you have a boyfriend, you've experienced. Because recently we also went out to eat, me, my kid, and my husband, and we get in the car and he starts sweating and driving like Richard Petty. And he's going absolutely insane. He pulls over to the mall of all places, doesn't even say anything except for, "I gotta go." He stops in front of Cheesecake Factory, gets out of the car, I'm in a roundabout. There's people behind us. He just hops out. I have to think fast, jump over the console, get in his seat.
You're also in a Cybertruck.
I've never driven the Cybersuck before. I have to figure out how to drive the Cybersuck, and then I have to circle the mall for a hot 15 while he goes in and does number 2.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Why do they do that? Why does it hit them so fast?
It hits them so fast. And then also, it's like they've never had to go to the bathroom before, the way they act. And also
if you know
jealous
this about yourself, let's just stick around at the restaurant for 10 more minutes so then you can go poop in there.
Because it keeps happening.
It's exactly right. It's not like it's a brand new thing. They know it's going to happen.
It's spicy food. Like, what are you trying to prove?
I don't get it, but it does seem to be a universal experience.
I can do spicy food. It's not going to do anything to me except make me bloated, but water makes me bloated. I did leave the restaurant looking 3 months pregnant, but that's every meal.
I don't understand why they know this about themselves.
And they say, "Let's go."
And they say, "Let's hop in the car." So then I can zoom.
Also, I'd like to say we were headed to the parking garage because we had to walk out of the restaurant and walk to a parking garage. And he, at that time, knew. He knew.
Maybe sometimes it hits faster than other times. I'm not
Maybe.
sure.
I think that's it. But also when they're driving, I don't know if Matt does this, but like looking at different like establishments and go, maybe I need to pull. No, I got it. There's that Euro place. I could go there. I've been in there before. Oh, the taqueria. Oh, that gas station. They have dirty bathrooms. Never mind.
No, he
knows.
Like,
you're already going to dirty this bathroom.
He also has safe spots where he's like, yeah, I've been in there before. I know that's a good poopatorium. He knows. Like he has his own safe spots on the way home from places and also actually across the state of Georgia because he travels a lot for work. So he knows the good spots. And I'm sick of it. Actually, now that we're talking about it, I'm over it.
It's a new peeve of yours.
Just keep your pooping to yourself. Don't make it interfere with my life.
It's why it's so dramatic. That's my thing.
Well, in my opinion,
only girls are allowed to be dramatic. I'm just kidding.
I don't even think we're dramatic.
I think I'm a little dramatic. I'm not gonna lie.
No, we are atrocious.
I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
No, we bring the drama. We bring the drama.
Am I the drama? Yes. I don't even ask.
No,
I know I am.
Everything I say is dramatic.
I hear myself sometimes, and I'll like turn, and I'll be like, "I heard that."
Drama.
I heard that.
With that, should we dramatically end this episode for the day?
I gotta poop.
I gotta go.
If I gotta poop, I will say it on the pod because that's news.
Exciting.
That's breaking news, baby.
It's exciting.
I unfortunately do not have to. So if you do have recommendations on, I do know I have a overproduction of gut flora. If you want to know everything, my social security number is, just kidding. But shout out, give me your recommendations. Slide in the DMs with your tips and tricks.
With your poop tips.
Yeah.
Also rate, review, subscribe. Please head over to YouTube and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Please leave us a rating on Spotify. Leave us a rating on Apple if you haven't. And ask us a question on either Spotify or Apple.
Yeah, you can leave comments.
Yeah, please
do that. Really helps us actually. It pushes our podcast
And
out.
honestly, I'm looking at you, Norway. Every single week I take a look. There's so many of you. Leave me a Norwegian comment. I want to know.
I don't care what you say. Say it.
What are we doing over there? Let me know. What the haps?
Come on, let's go, cuties. Also, share this episode with a friend. You know someone wants to hear about my bowel movements. And Janine, take us home, sis.